Hello and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, strategies, and insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today I'm very lucky to be joined by Jason of Socialistics. How's it going, Jason?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Jason, thank you for being here. And I just to start this off, I'd love to learn a little bit more about you and your background and a little bit more about Socialistic.
Sure. So I've been a 30-year marketer. My career took off when I got hired at Microsoft back in 2005.
Okay.
I was a search account manager and did that for a while and got into social media pretty quickly around '06, '07, right around when Facebook was transitioning from just to public domain.
Hmm.
So I was in the right place at the right time and really cut my teeth on social media from that point on. So for the past almost 20 years, really built out a career around social media, launching it for multiple brands at Microsoft, another 10, 15 years at agencies running social media teams. And then ultimately, about 7, 8 years ago, launched Socialistics, doing my own thing, and have never looked back since. We're a full service social media agency, and we've been able to establish ourselves as kind of one of the go-tos for that sort of thing. And we provide businesses full social media management, influencer, organic, paid, and my why is was freedom. I just wanted to live a life of freedom and kind of always got frustrated at companies not being able to take big risks and having multiple layers of management to have to fight through. And we certainly do that at Socialistics and love what I do.
And that's really interesting. I think your story follows a lot of the reason why entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs. They want to
Mhm.
start their own businesses, freedom. What does freedom mean to you as an entrepreneur? And
Mhm.
how has building your agency allowed you to live that out?
So for me, it's really just about being able to live life on your own terms. I always found it frustrating to just the number of unnecessary meetings or things that just didn't matter in the corporate environment that
Yeah.
just always got in the way of getting cool shit done.
Yeah.
I just wanted to live life on my terms. If I wanted to be able to go to my kid's little league game at 4 o'clock
Mm.
and not have to fight traffic, I just felt priorities in life. And look, it's not lost on me. Like a lot of people don't have the luxury of being able to carve out a path to build that life of freedom for themselves. But I just felt like there's got to be a better way. And for me,
Yeah.
it's really just about living your life on your own terms, working where you want, working how you want to work, and just being able to do the shit that you want to do. As long as you do great work, I don't care about where you work, how you work, when you work. Those things don't matter. What matters is keeping your clients happy, being where you need to be when there's meetings scheduled, and just doing awesome work. So I lived that for myself, and I wanted to build that for others. And I knew that if I could create an environment that truly was that
Mhm.
there would be a path to success. Now, it took a little bit longer to get there. If I ran this like a traditional agency and we did time tracking and you worked 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 and did all the traditional things that you always do, we probably would have made more money faster. And if we took all the clients, no matter whether they were the right fit, did all these things that typically most agencies or companies do, I know that the path to being a seven-figure business probably would have been faster,
Yeah.
but that's not what I wanted. I just want to live a comfortable life, and I have traded a little bit of profitability and probably a decent amount of revenue in exchange for an environment that provides myself and my team freedom. And I
Yeah.
think that to me is the most powerful thing in the world when you can just live your life that way. It's very empowering.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I think, especially in the agency world, right? There's a lot of people that start their agencies to not have that corporate having to answer to somebody. But then if they're not careful, they end up working a job again, just
Sure.
their clients or their bosses. And so it sounds like you're touching on this a little bit, but I'd love to understand a little bit more about how you've avoided that and really turned it into more, maybe more of a lifestyle business for yourself.
Yeah, I think everybody's different in what they want. I'm not naive. Like just because I'm doing it this way doesn't mean that works for others. You have to be wired a certain way to do it this way and to work in an environment like this. There's plenty of people for every person that values that freedom. There's plenty of people that like structure and want to know exactly what they're doing, when they're doing it, and how they're going to do it. And they check in, they check out, and when they're done with work, they don't think about it until Monday morning. There's people like that. There's no right or wrong. with
Yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
I'm
for
just
sure.
not wired that way. If there are plenty of Sundays I wake up and I have a good idea and I'm going to spend a couple hours doing a thing. And there's plenty of days, like on a Thursday or a Tuesday, I'm like, you know what? I want to go get a massage. I really need a massage. And it's 2 o'clock on a weekday. It's, hey, that's the life I want. I want to be able to make my own choices, and I want my team to be able to do that as well within reason. But not everybody's wired that way. And I think a lot of that, to your point, probably had a lot to do with I never really had great managers in my
Yeah,
experiences over the years. It's a tough thing. A lot of the problem is typically management's the easiest path to promotion. So you get a lot of people that just say I want to be a manager, I want to be a manager. They take those manager jobs and they're doing it for the title, they're doing it for the more money, they're doing it for that trajectory, but they're not really great at actually managing people. And I don't think a lot of companies really value or care about that ultimately. So I never really experienced having good managers. A lot of what I've learned and a lot of what I've done has been self-taught. And the one or two times that I have had a good experience has certainly been super helpful to me. And I've valued that and have tried to extend that type of environment in the company that I've built. I think it's important to have good mentors and to have people in positions of managing others that
mm,
have good hearts and actually genuinely care about the well-being and success of the people that they manage. So I've really tried to take everything I've learned throughout my career, good or bad, and
mhm,
tried to turn that into building what we have at Socialistics in a way that's worked well. And it hasn't been without its challenges. I've had people that have come into this environment that have not thrived because it always sounds great. Oh my God, freedom and yeah, oh yeah, unlimited vacation. Yeah, yeah, sign me up. But then they
yeah,
get into that and then they're not meeting the bar. Like it takes a level of you have to be a self-starter, you have to have high emotional intelligence. You got to if you're going to take, you got to be able to give. And so there's a give and take when it comes to being in an environment like that. So not everybody can work in those sorts of environments. And over the years we've learned to look for the key components, individuals that can thrive in those environments because it's not for everybody.
yeah, totally. I think some people definitely need structure more
Yeah,
than they'd like to admit.
sure.
So, to shift gears a little bit, you love working with clients who are already sold on the value of social. And I'm sure that's probably one of the ways that you have clients that aren't as much of a, I don't want to
Pain in the
burden this
butt.
problem. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so, how does that mindset shift the type of work that you're able to do compared to clients who still need convincing?
Yeah, I would say I would take it a step further. We don't work with, or we won't get into a working relationship with anybody that has to be talked into or convinced that social media is a viable path for their
Hmm.
marketing, because that never ends well. If they're coming in with objections or they don't believe in it or they're allowing their personal beliefs around social media to influence the decisions they make for their business, those situations aren't going to end well because they're going to have a really short they're gonna pull the trigger quickly. They're just not gonna have the patience that's required for those things to kind of work and start to bear results. So ultimately, they're not ready for us, and we know that's not going to work. A perfect example is It's going to sound crazy, but personally, social media to me, I don't post that much on social media. I don't really care for it all that much, but that doesn't influence my an opinion of it as a viable channel for businesses to market themselves. So I can make that separation. So one of our prerequisites when we're having introductory calls is, are you ready for us? Are you ready to actually invest in social media? And do you have realistic expectations about how this works and what this is going to mean for your business? We've just found that if they're coming in and we're just fighting to kind of get them to really consider doing this, if we have to talk them into it, they're probably going to think, oh, if this doesn't change my world in a month, then I've wasted time and money and it's just not
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah. No, that's a good way to look at it. And I
Sure.
think it's the same thing here at our agency too. We hardly ever deal with clients that are
Mhm.
and need to be talked into social media, but I think the big distinction is knowing that social media is an investment rather than a cost. And too many small business owners, especially or people who aren't used to social media, look at it as a cost.
Yeah.
But once they really start to understand that it's one of the best investment vehicles out there, like where else can you put $1 in and get three, four, even
Yeah.
10, $20 out for
Yeah.
every dollar that you spend there. And so
Yeah.
once somebody realizes that, they're very primed to be able to be like, okay, cool. I know that this is something that's going to grow my business. Now I just have to find the right agency that's going to help me achieve that,
Yeah.
right?
The best analogy I usually like to make with business owners or decision makers is it's like a car. If you stop putting gas in it, it stops. It's not going to run anymore. You can't
Right.
turn, as far as marketing goes, you can't treat it like a light switch. If you keep
Right.
turning it on and off, you're never going to get the full value out of that. It's something that it's a hard cost. You put it on your P&L and L and you commit to it. Now you need to make good decisions about how you leverage those resources. Like I always tell businesses, it's better to be great at less than average at everything. So don't take your modest budget and try to spread it too thin. Some people may not be there are examples of businesses that might want to prioritize other things other than social media out of the gate. And now that's just dictated by what are your goals and objectives? What is it you do as a business? And what's the resources that you have to work with? So we never just chase dollars, and we certainly never talk a client into doing something that's not in their self best interest. Because for us, especially as a lifestyle business and when freedom's your core value, keeping clients is way more important than winning new ones.
Yes.
And we do that. And
Mhm.
so ultimately, we know let's never bring anybody into the fold that doesn't have the high probability of being a client that's going to be with us for a very long time. Because when you
Right.
think about that freedom and you talk about that type of culture, when you have happy clients that have been with you for years, they become friends, they become colleagues, they become people that you enjoy being around, and they don't want to leave. So we tried to flip the script on that revolving door of employees and clients because that is how you really maximize living a life of freedom is when
Right.
you're working with the same folks in and day out.
Yeah.
It becomes pretty magical.
Yeah, and it becomes this thing that is it's more like a family. You
Yeah,
you
for
have
sure.
this sense of family with your clients, not just your people that you work with.
Yeah,
So you've written a book for aspiring entrepreneurs are starting with nothing. What's one mindset shift or practical principle from the book
sure.
that you wish more founders understood? Also, please feel free to drop the name of the book as well.
Yeah, no. So the book's called Anti-Agency: A Realistic Path to $1 Million Business. I wrote it just because when I crossed that threshold, it was a very emotional moment for me because I grew up poor, and for the longest time I was paycheck to paycheck, and I don't know if I ever really believed that it was possible that I could pull that off. So I think when that happened, it was just a monumental moment in my life, and I think once I got off the high of that, I realized, man, if I could do this, anybody could. I got to tell this story and I got to figure this out and I got to give other people my blueprint for how I did this because that became my thing, the next thing for me. I'm not involved in the day-to-day of the agency. Now my job is to help others find what I've been able to find for myself. So the one thing in the book that I think is my favorite thing that definitely made the biggest difference in the world for me to be able to do this is called basically, I think it's chapter 2 or 3, where it's you build a runway for yourself. So most people don't have a lot of startup money. They don't have a lot of time. They have a job. Need that paycheck. They need the benefits. They've got kids. To take a full swing risk on something is not an option for a lot of people.
Right.
You got to build some momentum. You got to be able to make that leap less risky, less of a leap. And I
Yeah.
knew that I had to kind of do that for myself. I had tried in the past to do my own thing and had middling results. So I knew that if I was going to take that leap again, I had to create some momentum so that leap wasn't as risky. I built my brand. I built the website. I put it out in the world. I had a job still. I took my free time that I had and I built this other thing on the side. What does that do? It does a couple things. Number one, you start to build momentum digitally, right? You put that out in the world, you start blogging, you start putting content out regularly, you start sending out signals. Now your people are going to start to find your thing. That's
Right.
number one. So you need to get because that takes a long time. It takes a couple years for that to really start to bear any fruit.
Mhm.
I knew I had to get that going. Number two is now since you don't need to rely on that for money, you've got your paycheck, you could take some bigger swings on going after pieces of work for either for free in exchange for their testimonials and being in a portfolio or lower cost. So that's your competitive advantage. You're new, but you can charge a lot less or nothing because the dollars don't matter at that point. What matters is the experience and the testimonials and the portfolio that you can build on your site. So you
Right.
start to pile that up and you start to get credibility. You start putting these things in place. Maybe you get a couple clients that are paying you a little bit on the side to kind of give you a little bit of something. You're doing all of these things and you're building this momentum so that ultimately when the thing happens, you get laid off or you get fired, you just get so fed up that you're like, this is not for me. I should be doing my own thing. You've got this machine rolling that's been going for, say, 6, 12, 18 months. Now it's not, doesn't feel as monumental. Okay, yeah, maybe it's not everything, but I got something in motion that I can now jump on that doesn't feel as risky. And that's exactly what I did. So there was a moment that I reached with the role that I was in that was just a nightmare. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just so fed up. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I just jumped into the business full time. And the combination of that being in motion, relieved me of the fear of
Uh-huh.
that risk, which ultimately was what was holding me back. I wasn't afraid anymore. And
Yeah.
once I had those handcuffs released, everything took off.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest reason why I was able to do what I was able to do. And I think it requires a lot of patience and tenacity. Like it's not going to be easy. You're going to be working 40, 50 hours a week at your job and you come home and you're probably going to have to put a couple hours in every day. You're probably going to have to work weekends. But if you really want to bridge that gap and build a life of freedom for yourself, that's
Mhm.
the price of admission when you don't have millions of dollars to throw at an idea or
Right.
investors, those sorts of things. And
Right.
that's the biggest reason why I was able to pull it off.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's that 9 to 5 and then 5 to 9 thing. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Exactly.
Wow, that's really interesting. I really admire your foresight to be able to be like, hey, let me build this thing, and then just in case, like when I'm ready,
Yeah.
when I'm ready to jump, I'm ready. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Jason, this has been so enlightening. I love the way you set up your business to really follow along with the lifestyle that you want to live. Where can people learn more about you, and where can people learn more about your agency?
Yeah, so my agency is socialistics.com. And if you want to learn a little bit more about me or even grab a free copy of my book, feel free to visit me at jasonyormark.com. And if you want a free copy of the book, jasonyormark.com/free dash book. You just fill in your details. I'll send you a free digital copy. I never made money on the book. It's all just about putting it in front of people that can help make a difference in their lives. And I'm always willing to give some time and advise people that are looking to build the same thing for themselves.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you again so much for being on.
Sure. Thank you for having me.